Hey everyone, and welcome back to Robbie's Backstage Bants. Today, I have a very special guest with me. I've got Hugo Bailey, the first traitor to ever come to Robbie's Backstage Bants. How you doing, Hugo?
Hey, Robbie, great to see you, and thanks for having me. I like the castle you got behind you, a modest abode.
Yes, built it myself, actually.
Must be difficult to heat it, but there we are.
Well, that's it, yes. Now, it's been great to have you in because obviously you've literally just been in Traitors Series 4, which it's crazy that it feels like Series 4 already. That's come round quick. My first question for you, though, is really, what made you apply?
Well, I'm a super fan of the show, so I think I'd seen every single episode in the English language, New Zealand, Australia, US, UK, and the BBC just released today that 300,000 people applied. So I feel just absolutely blessed to have had the chance to even go in the castle.
Totally. And that's I mean, I assume you've been watching this series through as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't get to know what happens until we watch it. We know what happens when we're in the castle, but then after we leave, it's all top secret. So yeah, we've been catching up, and I'm glued to it. I can't take my eyes off it.
No, and so is everyone else. We're all absolutely, it's so annoying when you get to Friday night and you go, "No!"
That's it. You have four more sleeps until the next one.
No, I can't wait. Now, what did you feel like when you got that tap on that shoulder? How was that for you?
It was incredible to be tapped on the shoulder by Claudia, and that's all I wanted. I'd said to her beforehand, you may remember that line about there's a hug in my name, but don't get too close. There'll be a dagger in your back. Because I thought, look, you've got to stand out and you've got to do something different to get selected. And if you remember watching that first episode, Robbie, almost everyone wanted to be a traitor. So it was
Yeah.
300,000 down to 22 to get in the castle. And then almost all of them wanted to be traitors. And I did think I wasn't going to have much of a chance if I wasn't a traitor. So I was delighted. But just a little side note, Claudia didn't just touch me, she kind of just pushed me a little. And my chair creaked. And to my right, I had Sam. And to my left, I had Jack. And I thought, oh, I hope they didn't hear the chair creak. But I whipped off the mask and nobody seemed to know. So thank goodness for that.
Wow, it would be interesting to know, looking back, if they did think about that and sort of just dismiss it. But that's really interesting, and
Yeah,
obviously,
I got away with it. I don't think they did. And obviously, they were nervous. Their heart was racing. So I could hear. And it, for me, at times, with being pushed, but it wasn't audible to them, I don't think. Thank goodness.
you a big deep breath there. Now,
Absolutely.
it is a scary game, but also it must be fun. What's your favourite memory from being in there?
Well, I very much modelled my performance, and it was a performance on Phantom of the Opera. So I absolutely loved skulking around backstage, so to speak, or in the corridors. And it's occasionally they'd fill the corridors with smoke, Claudia's helpers, and they give you not just this great big full length green cloak, which is weighted. They give you a lantern, and just walking around the castle and in the castle grounds at 2 or 3 in the morning, like a real traitor, like a real phantom, was just the high spot for me, and it sort of appealed to my dramatic sensibilities, I think.
Absolutely. Now, you have mentioned you are a musical theatre fan. We're going to get on to that in just a little bit. But also, you're speaking about walking around with your lantern. Up in that turret, you weren't so impressed that there was a secret traitor telling you what to do, were you, about that?
Well, that's right. I wanted a direct report to my Queen of Darkness. I did not require middle management. No, it did come as a bit of a shock. And we didn't have all that much power while I was there. We have those two shortlists, and I'm sure those who follow you will know the detail. And the secret traitor we now know was Fiona. Shortlisted Maz twice for some reason, so that was no choice. Shortlisted James, that was no choice. I love him, but you'd never murder him as a traitor because he was such a live wire. So we didn't really have all that much choice, and I ended up bumping off one of my mates, Ben. So yeah, I was a bit aggrieved. On the other hand, it allows you to think like a faithful. And the day one lesson one of traitor school is act like a faithful. And I did on day two get my head into the space, which was a good one, which was okay. Well, you're trying to find a traitor as well, so that part of it was helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was great to play along at home as well. But you speak about bumping off Ben. That caused a bit of a ruckus, didn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, apparently you can have too much ham at breakfast. I mean, I genuinely missed the guy, and I really did think it was me not to move on. And I did see a little glint in Fiona's eye. She's began by saying, now, what did Ben say before he was murdered? Who should we look at? And I thought, hang on, Fiona, that's really manipulative. Maybe you're the secret traitor. So I ploughed in, I interrupted her and said, no, before we get on to that. But if I tried to put the spotlight on her to go back to drama, my goodness, the spotlight came on me. So yeah, it was maybe my time to go, but I enjoyed it.
Oh well, what would have been your game plan going forward if you hadn't have been banished that night?
Well, I think Harriet's point was unanswerable. I knew it was coming, which is you're a senior professional, you'd be a good traitor, and if you're not a good traitor, you're a threat to the traitors. So why haven't they murdered you? So I thought, well, what you mustn't do is play this like a lawyer in a suit, because that plays into that. What you must do is be chaotic and try and find the secret traitor. But I'm afraid, Robbie, I only really achieved the first one of those. Never mind.
Well, you were onto her. You were onto her.
Possibly.
Yes. If they'd have kept you any longer, you might have got her. That's why you had to go.
Well, I suppose that's right. I'm thinking that's a good point, actually. Obviously, Harriet was really concise and devastating, but she did that right at the start of the round table, and then Ross started speaking. So I thought, well, rather than argue back and maybe prove a point, if I said I got 4 points and 4 bits of evidence, they think, hang on a minute, you are a sort of slick professional. So I thought, just sit tight, see if Ross digs a hole. He did kind of dig a bit of a hole, but then, as you say, two traitors wept for me. We now know that Fiona was a secret traitor, and she was kind of, oh, you've changed, Hugo. You were Rumpole of the Bailey. You were this baritone. And she knew fine well I was a traitor. And then when Stephen ploughed in, I just thought, time to call a taxi.
Absolutely. Get yourself out. Now, on that slick departure, let's chat about musical theatre because, as you say, you are a musical theatre fan. My first thing I need to know, now you've mentioned being the Phantom in the castle, but what is your favourite musical?
Well, I saw Evita. I was lucky enough to see Evita in the short run with Rachel Ziegler in it. And I genuinely had just been walking past in the West End when they did that revolutionary thing. She played Don't Cry for Me, Argentina to the people walking past. And the first time she did it, not many people knew it was going to happen. My mate actually tipped me off, so we walked past deliberately. But by the end of the run, the crowds outside were as big as the crowds in the theatre, and I thought, well, look, I've got to be there. So I was there for the last night. Can you imagine? Wow. And this inside, not outside, and it was incredible. I don't know if you got a chance to see it, but the staging of it, you couldn't take your eyes off it, could you? It was on different levels, and it was just in your face all the way through. So I think my favourite recent one. But you've got to stay Evita with Rachel Ziegler. That was great.
100%. That was a phenomenal production. I'm so glad that you've said that because I don't think I've actually sort of spoken about that production on here yet. So that's really interesting. It was fantastic. We went in August and it was just mind-blowing.
Yeah, it was a very short run, wasn't it? I mean, I think she might transfer to New York to Broadway, I think. But it was great to have her in the West End.
It was so wonderful. Now, would you ever turn to musicals as a performer?
Well, it's funny you ask. I think I've got a sufficient run before the next pantomime, or perhaps the next pantomime season. I would like to show off in public again. I'm very much focused now on promoting the Traitors. I'm absolutely glued to it, and obviously I'll follow through on my obligations. But this time next year, I don't know. Maybe you'll be able to catch me treading the boards somewhere, being a bit over the top and overacting again, like I did in the castle.
Well, I would love that, and I'm sure many, many other people would. I mean, Traitors actually made it into a fair few pantomimes this year. Well, last year.
Oh, I bet it did. And it's become part of the sort of common vocabulary now. So there was a political event that happened yesterday where one person moved from one party to another. And obviously all the memes were traitor. And I follow sports. I'm a rugby fan and all that. And the BBC and others they'll use this theme, traitor or faithful. So it's entered into the sort of common vocabulary that's commonly used, and it's on the up. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the viewing figures, but the overnight view figures for this series of the non-celebrity ones they're even stronger than last time. So we're on an upward path. Good stuff.
Yeah, I wonder if the Celebrity Traitors sort of propelled it into everybody's minds, and then it's just gone up from there.
Well, that's it. And I think the advantage with the celebrity one for season 2 of that is people will now anticipate, okay, well, we have Stephen Fry. Should we have Hugh Laurie? Or should we have Steve Coogan? Or should we have any number of the brilliant sort of female comics there are? I think it's going to be, we're on an upward trajectory.
Definitely, and it's fantastic to see. I've watched from season one, and now there's so many more people. There's such a buzz about it.
Yeah, yeah, a much bigger audience.
Yes. Now, if there was a Traitors season 4 the musical, who would you want to play you?
Oh, wow. My goodness me. Oh, that's a fantastic question. I mean, if I could have a time machine, I would get a young Art Garfunkel because when I was a kid, I had massive curly blonde hair. So I think he'd be good. Yeah, I don't know. Or you may remember Fiona in the Castle saying I had a good baritone voice. So you could actually get an opera singer, a massive Italian opera singer, sort of channeling Pavarotti. Bryn Terfel, I think. Yeah, let's have him. A great big, strong, strapping Welshman belting it out. I do not require middle management.
I think we should get this happening. Now, I saw you were out with some of the gang the other day. Have you made some really strong bonds that are going to stick with you for life?
Yeah, I think being in the castle, it gives you that kind of high pressure experience and all away from home. And I was there, you might imagine 3 episodes took at least twice that number of days to film, and you'd be right. So yeah, you're there, you're away from home, and we're all on a WhatsApp group, all of us, because there's no hard feelings. You might see it looks a little bit scratchy sometimes in the castle, but actually we're all playing a game and we've
Yeah.
all been in touch since. And you probably gathered from watching Uncloaked, the irony is that I'm really good mates with Ben. I mean, he did say on Uncloaked he would have banished me twice, and I said, that's okay, I would have murdered you twice. But that seems to be a basis for a friendship. We met up in Portsmouth and for a curry since. I'm seeing him again this week, and we've all got the finale this week. So yeah, ironically, my best buddy is Ben, the one I murdered.
Wow. Well, that's ironic. But are you all getting together? You'll all be together, won't you, for the finale?
Yeah, well, you might remember the format in previous years, which is there's an Uncloaked immediately after, which comes from the a central location where the BBC film it, and you probably remember from previous years. Yeah, that's the format. We all come together and sit in the audience, and the finalists, I believe, are on stage. So that'll be lovely. We're all sort of comparing what we're going to wear to make sure we don't turn up in the same smoking jacket. Again, on Uncloaked, Ben had a rather fetching midnight blue, but I wore my burgundy smoking jacket twice. So I've told him he's got to get a new one because I've bought a new blue one. Anyway, that's for us to coordinate. Don't you worry yourself with that, Robbie. We'll work it out.
Yes. We'll all be waiting to watch what you're all wearing now.
Unveiled, yeah.
Yes, it's that. You're not going to wear your cloak, no?
Well, I thought about wearing that in court, actually, turning up in a green cloak rather than a black barrister's gown, just to turn a few heads, just to see what the reaction was with a flourish.
That will freak people out, I think.
Yeah, I don't think that'd be a good idea.
Well, I mean, it might work. You never know.
Well, yeah, a bit distracting, but yeah.
Yeah, might make the job easier. Now, as I said, you are the first traitor I've had on here. So, for the pure novelty of it, could you please tell me I've been murdered by order of the traitors?
Robbie, by order of the traitors, you have been murdered.
Ah, yes,
Brutal, and that was face to face as well.
that was.
You've got to think of, yeah, you've got to think of a comeback though, sort of. Well, you're not going to last long anyway. We're all on to you. You're next.
Yeah, nice try at breakfast, Hugo.
Oh yeah, too much ham, too much cheese
Too
at
much,
breakfast.
too much. I tell you what, this is completely random. I've been eyeing up those things that the orange juice is in. Whatever that is in, looks stunning.
Yeah, the breakfast, the setting of the breakfast is quite a sort of drama in itself, isn't it? Yeah, weirdly, people aren't too hungry at breakfast. People do drink the orange juice, they do drink the coffee, but I haven't seen them really tucking in because I think everybody's just in full game
Yeah.
mode. And you've seen, I mean, obviously, I kicked off this year, and obviously, I followed in the proud tradition of Linda and others and Kaz overdoing it. But my goodness, I was just like a warm up act for Harriet at breakfast. And I mean, yeah, I mean, it was just kind of, there's something about that setup because you get the chance to speak to everyone at the round table, but you also get the chance in this kind of L shape. And I, for one, felt I hadn't said very much at all at the previous round table. So obviously I went over the top, but it's like a stage, you've got everyone there. And I just like a moth to the flame. I couldn't resist couldn't resist it. But there we are. I should
Yeah.
have had more orange juice just to keep kept quiet.
Well, you never know. But I mean, as you say, the world's a stage, and that is probably the perfect place to round up today. Now, thank you so much for taking time. I know you've been really busy with all the press with Traitors coming out and you being a traitor yourself, but no, I appreciate you giving me the time.
No, thanks, Robbie. You're very, very, very welcome. Take care.
Thank you so much, and thanks for watching. I should probably say that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye for now.
You will.